Up to the 1920s, this area was known as Stinking Corner because of the seaweed and dead creatures that were dumped by the tides to decay and pollute the air. The marine lake was originally opened in 1929 after a long campaign by Councillor Frederick Nutting to improve the area. But success for the venture only came when he purchased the foreshore rights and shamed the council into building the lake. In its heyday, swimmers would dress using the numerous changing rooms available and could then enter the water by means of a diving board, a springboard or even a slide. There were rowing and paddling boats for hire, and deck chairs were available at the paddling pool end, where families could sit and chat whilst watching the kids enjoying the water. With the increase in foreign travel in the 1980s, use of the lake began to decline, and it wasn't until 2004, with the formation of an enthusiasts group called Marlins, that the lake once again became a hive of activity, particularly on the annual festival weekend.
And they're on!
During 2013, in conjunction with the Marlins and the Clevedon Civic Society, North Somerset Council made a successful bid for heritage lottery funding to repair the leaking lake. And that year, £40,000 was made available to undertake a detailed marine engineering assessment of the sea wall. By March 2013, with the lake now empty of water, volunteers from the Marlins group were out in force, clearing the rubbish that had accumulated over the years.
Well, it's all in aid of cleaning the lake, so that and getting our outer wall inspected so we can make our HLF bid. We hope to get some lottery fund money to help repair the lake. Anyway, on with the cleaning. We've been cleaning out the lake for two reasons. One is to get some of the rubbish out of the bottom.
It's a bit of laminate floor.
We haven't quite finished, but we've got a lot of it out. So the lake is a lot cleaner for people who want to sail and swim and canoe.
Dripping slime as I go. Yuck.
The second reason was we had to clear the rubbish from around the wall so that the engineers could do a survey of the wall, see what its condition is and work out how best to repair it.
Then it was time for the machines to move in. For several days, these two earth movers seemed to enjoy themselves, scraping the glutinous mud from the concrete floor and tipping it over the sea wall into the sea. Meanwhile, over by the sea wall, the task of drilling into the structure had begun. The object of the exercise was to obtain some core samples that could be sent off to be analysed and thereby give structural engineers an idea of what the wall was made of. By September 2013, with the lottery fund bid now well into its second phase, an exhibition was held at the Town Council offices, aimed at showing local people what ideas the organisers had so far had for the lake's development. The long-awaited result of the funding bid was announced in 2014, with a grant of almost £800,000. The award followed a very successful site visit from the Heritage Lottery's South West Committee, during which they were shown round by members of the various water sports groups who use the lake. We asked the Marlins chairman what would happen next.
What's going to happen is, first of all, there'll be a new inner wall of poured concrete built inside the existing wall and bonded to it. This will both waterproof the wall and stabilise it for another 50 years. So at the same time, they're going to put in a new bigger sluice alongside the existing sluice, so that we can empty the lake in a single tide. If you look over there, you can see the remains of the old clubhouse up and down. That's going to be smoothed out, so there's a level promenade all the way out to the pump house. The whole promenade will be given a new topping of several inches of concrete, which should resist the sea much better than the current finish. From the steps there will be a new ramp, for wheelchairs and buggies and prams and people who don't like walking up steps, so that there's ramp access both ends of the lake, which will make it a lot pleasanter for mums with pushchairs, people who are disabled and so forth. They'll be able to come along the lower promenade and get out the other end.
Right on schedule, the building contractors undertaking the refurbishment work on the marine lake started work straight after Easter 2015. Their first task was to establish a construction site in the corner of the Salthouse field, right next door to the Mugger and the skate park. The work was scheduled to go on throughout the summer, finishing, it was hoped, in time for the Marlins Tide Festival in September. The rocks along the back of the lake, below the start of Poets Walk, were removed to allow a ramp to be built, allowing for the first time wheelchair users and swimmers access to the deepest end of the lake. The resurfacing of the whole of the walkway also progressed at a pace during this period. If there was any need to give a justification for the work being carried out at the lake at the moment, these pictures tell it all. Taken recently during a high tide, they show the extent of the leaking in the sea wall.
Well,
with the aim of keeping the public informed of progress, a couple of guided tours of the building site were arranged. As you would expect, there is an awful lot of concrete going into this project. So as one empty mixer lorry leaves, another is waiting in the wings to replace it. To finally seal and reinforce the existing sea wall, an 800mm thick concrete backing wall was constructed, topped by a capping which will raise the level of the wall by 150mm. There were 26 of these concreted sections to construct, and each section took 3 lorry loads of concrete to fill them. As can be seen from these pictures, much has changed, and we understand that much still has to be done. But we believe that the changes are startling and will create a much more welcoming environment for all those who love to swim in the open sea water and those who simply love messing about in boats of all kinds. With the flooding of the lake at the beginning of September, work has now ceased to allow the Marlin's Tides Festival to take place over the weekend of the 18th to the 20th of September. Construction work will then resume, with a view to having it completed by the end of October, with the official reopening of the new lake scheduled for next spring. As soon as the high tides had finished flooding the lake, the final phase of the construction work commenced. A hole for a new and bigger sluice was drilled alongside the existing one. With this 600mm hole, the lake will not only drain more quickly, but it is hoped that the flow of water out through the hole will take with it more of the muddy sediment from the floor of the lake. Meanwhile, down at the children's end of the lake, a completely new design has been created, including 2 toddlers' splash pools with a dish-shaped stream connecting them together. Meanwhile, back at the other end, the hole is finished and now awaits the fitting of the penstock, or metal gate mechanism. And there we are, a few days later, the finished seal, already keeping the water in. The seaward side of the seawall, complete with its wave return overlap. During the week, this side of the wall will be pressure washed and some pointing will be undertaken. And up above, the seemingly never-ending stream of concrete mixing lorries just keeps on coming. This time to fill a section of the apron wall dividing the children's pools with the main boating area. A start has also been made on building the ramp to allow boats to be wheeled into the lake. There is still much work to be done, but as we published this edition, it was announced that the deadline for finishing the work was still the end of the week, on Friday the 23rd of October. A detachment of the North Somerset Samba Band were on hand to welcome visitors on this rather overcast early April morning, the day that marked the official end of the building work undertaken by the contractors Dyer and Butler, and, it is hoped, the beginning of a new lease of life for an expanse of water that holds many memories for the citizens of our town. We asked one of the organisers what was planned for the day.
Well, today is the celebration for the reopening of the Clevedon Marine Lake following last year's restoration project. So we've got an activities day with family-friendly fun activities, sailing, canoeing, I think there's some zorbs down the other end and paddle boating. And then later in the day we've got the official ceremony with the ribbon cutting, and it's going to be officially opened by Cllr Charles Cave from North Somerset Council. We've got some speeches, and the public are welcome to come to the west end of the lake to listen to that and see that.
For the past few months, writers with special memories of the lake have been jotting down their thoughts and submitting them to the community bookshop. The result, this book, now on sale in the shop at £4.95. We asked where the writers had come from.
But they all have some connection with Marine Lake because we put it on our website. So they could be living elsewhere, we don't know.
And what are they writing about? Memories?
Memories and imaginations. We've got a lot of memories, poetry, prose, but also we've got a bit of crime fiction, science fiction, romance.
Brilliant. How about joining its head to its flippers?
Thank you. Yeah, we're pretty cool. But it's all going on down at the other end, so I'm kind of stuck up here by myself.
Right.
Which is fine.
Dead on the allotted hour of 3 p.m, the Marlin's chairman commenced the official proceedings to open the lake.
Now, one of the wonderful things about getting this lake back on its feet has been how so many members of the Clevedon community, so many organisations have gathered together to make it possible and work together. Hey! How's that? Anyway, more recently, we've been strongly supported by North Somerset Council in approaching the Heritage Lottery Fund, getting the money and in getting the work done to repair this lake. So I'd now like to hand over to Councillor Charles Kay, Chair of North Somerset Council.
I can't mention everyone, but a special word must be said to the late Arthur Knott, who helped create Marlin's and which kick-started the lake's revival. Another local is unsung hero Mike Mayhew, who has selfishly worked hard to keep the lake intact over the last 15 years. Joe Normam, who has ensured that Marlin's are able to take over the running of the lake. And I think they deserve a hand. We wish Marlin's every success with the lake and thank their volunteers for their considerable efforts, both in the past and in the future. Our greatest hope, though, is that the people of Clevedon and visitors alike benefit from having such a great resource once again. Congratulations, Clevedon.
I'd now like to introduce Singe Green, our distinguished visitor and guest, who is author of Mum's List and also a resident of Clevedon. Not only that, but he's an instructor and an expert in all sorts of the activities you can see on the lake here today.
Everyone. I would like to say that it's amazing. The lake itself, from my point of view, I was born in Clevedon. I've lived in Clevedon nearly all my life. My family use the lake regularly, do crab. I've fallen in numerous times, dragging my sons out as well. The seafront of Clevedon with the sailing, the skiing, and the other activities that we do, it's just the best place on the planet as far as I'm concerned. The whole variety of activities that we've got today is really amazing for everyone to see, but it's even more fun to do. So don't be a bystander, don't just watch it, have a go and do it. And if you can't do the activity, then come and join the Marlins, and I'm sure they've got a job for us to do as well. Great activity, hope everybody enjoys the day. You're very lucky with the weather. Let's keep everybody smiling, and thank you very much.
It's now time to declare the lake open. Pause for photos with the sniffers ready to go.
I'm ready when you guys are.
Ready?
We declare this lake
Open!
Thank you very much. Oh, you've earned your tea.
Absolutely. Well done that, man.
Well done.
The final item on the day's agenda was a silly hat and swim session, staged by the Middle Yeo Surf Lifesaving Club. That's the group that swim either in the sea or in the lake every day of the year.
Can we leave the frame in a second?
Alright, do you want it?
Right, is that it?
Hey, hey.
Right, a couple of pieces. Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
What was it?
Oh no, it's alright. It's lovely and warm.
Yeah. Friend of mine.
It's okay.
That's what I need.
The swim marked the end of the official opening day. But what's planned for the future?
Well, in the future, we hope to see more of this. We hope to see more of the lake being busy, the centre of the community, like it used to be back in the heyday. So we really want people that want to use the lake to get in touch with Marlins, to talk to us about how we can do it. We're hoping to have much more boats for hire, deck chairs for hire, that sort of thing, so that during the summer it's an actual visitor attraction, as well as just being for the people that have the equipment themselves.
Why don't we steal a deck chair then?